If you don't have sold listings checked, you could fall into the trap of thinking this is worth $3,000 and it's not.
My family calls it my superpower. It's my ability to see value in things that other people might overlook. Sometimes I go picking with my boyfriend, sometimes it's my best friend Sue, and sometimes it's my kids. But at the end of the day, it's all about having fun and hopefully just maybe making a profit.
All right, I know this looks like a wrap-up. It is not a wrap-up. I've actually been receiving about 10 to 15 requests a day to appraise and evaluate antiques and collectibles. And to be honest, I used to get like 1 or 2 a week, and now the volume I'm receiving, I can't keep up. And as much as I would love to give each and every one of you my undivided attention, I don't have the time. I'm spread so thin with all my projects and everything I'm working on that I can't give you the attention that you deserve. So I'm making this video to hopefully help you and give you a tool that you can use to identify and maybe evaluate your own antiques and collectibles. Something that I use that's completely free. I mean, there are tools that you can pay for, like WorthPoint, and I know there's some others out there, but they're like a monthly fee. But one of the things that I use, and it's so simple, it's eBay sold listings, okay? Just look on eBay at the sold listings, and that's so very important that you're looking at sold listings. There's so many people that are watching my videos, and they'll see me pan, or they'll see me like focus on something and be like, well, that's only worth 20 bucks. And they're like, nuh-uh, that's worth $500. It's on eBay right now for $500. No, it's not. There's some crazy whack job seller on eBay right now asking $500 for that salt shaker. That single salt, there's not even a pepper, it's a salt shaker. And there's some whack job on eBay right now asking $500. Are they gonna get that? No, they're not. It sells $20 for the pair, okay? So it's very important that you are looking at the sold listings when you are saying this is worth this or this is worth that. It's one of the main tools I use. Okay, you guys are asking me what references would you recommend? What references do you use? Honestly, it's all up here. And the reason it's all up here is because I look through sold listings. Okay, so I buy a ceramic lamp. I go on eBay and I look ceramic mid-century lamp. And I go from the very top. I start from sold listings, highest price, and I have a memory where I can look, and it's kind of like a photographic memory, but not entirely, but I can basically remember how much these things have sold for, and it's all logged up here. The only problem with that, and this is a problem that you guys probably will see in my videos, is that once it's up here, the market, as you guys know, goes like this, okay? So Pyrex a couple years ago was up here, and it's kind of done one of these things. So, you know, in my head, and I've made this mistake with a number of things, okay? And you guys will see it in my videos, I'm sure, if you haven't already. I will pick something up and I'll say it's worth this. But in reality, at the time of the video, it's not worth that, because when I had seen that price, that's what it was worth. And I may have seen that price a year before. And so as a result, you know, me not keeping up on the prices, sometimes I have that issue. So I like to try to keep up to date on the prices, but in my mind, I'm constantly, all right, this is what this is worth, this is what this is worth. And I don't always go by sold prices, okay? So if I see that something's sold for $200, I subtract 50 bucks off of that, and I say, okay, well, it'll sell for this. Okay, so I'm trying to be realistic about this, and I'm not saying, all right, this sold for $200. I'm saying this will sell for $150. If I can get $200, that's great. But, you know, being realistic about it, you know, this is what it'll sell for. So that's something to keep in mind. Make sure you're looking at sold prices. Okay, all of that being said, let's get to the stuff I have sitting in front of me. This is all stuff I had just sitting around the house. Okay, so one of the first things you want to do with your object, regardless of what it is. I mean, a lot of you have been sending me lamps. I'll talk a little bit about that, but regardless of what your object is, whether it's a lamp or something else, sorry, I'm sick, I'm losing my voice. You guys are gonna have to bear with me. But one of the first things you're gonna wanna do is this. Look at the bottom. Okay, so you're looking at the bottom and you're looking at the mark, okay, if there is a mark. You wanna identify the mark because that is gonna be the key right there. If there is a mark, that's your key. So you're gonna look on eBay for man planter. Okay, you guys remember the man planter? Regardless of what it is, whether it's a plate, say it's an antique plate and it has the maker on the bottom, look up the plate. And you know what I'm saying? Look up whatever it is, whatever the mark says it is, look it up. That's rule number one. It's the simplest rule of them all. Okay? But if it doesn't have a mark, say it doesn't have a mark, okay? Say it's this glass bowl. Glass, yeah, it's kind of a bowl. A lot of you probably already know what this is, okay? But this does not have a mark. All right, so if I was to try to identify this, as if I didn't know what it was, I would go on eBay. I would toggle sold listings so that I'm only looking at sold listings. And what I like to do is I actually like to sort highest first because I like to scroll through and I like to see what the highest sold of that object are, you know, just so that I have them in my head as I'm going through, like, okay, so this is what I really need to be looking for. That's just a thing I do. But this right here, okay, so what is it? It's a glass. It's definitely glass. Okay, it's if you hold it up to the light, it's purple. It's amethyst. All right. It's got rays on it. It's kind of iridescent, you know. So I don't know. Maybe I'll search for iridescent purple glass bowl rays. Okay, so then I search for it on eBay and I'll get some results. So then I'm able to narrow it down and maybe like step by step kind of get down and chisel it down until I'm able to identify that this is Carnival glass bowl. Okay, so that's important. Okay, so this right here, okay, what is this? This is a white porcelain dragon, okay? There is a mark on it. It's just a bunch of letters and numbers, so that doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. I've put in white porcelain dragon, okay, and I come up with this obscure Qin de China, like Qin de blank de Qin, what is that, okay? So then I find out that, oh, okay, so that's white porcelain. All right, so this is Fitz and Floyd. Oh, it's a dragon. It's worth $100. What? Okay, so that's cool, right? I untoggle sold listings. I see someone's trying to sell it for $3,000. Okay, so see what I'm saying? If you don't have sold listings checked, you could fall into the trap of thinking this is worth $3,000 and it's not. Okay, you're looking at sold listings. All right, let's move on to this. What is this? This is wood. Okay, it's like a wood burning. It's a girl with flowers in her hair. Let's, you know, we can go even further than that. If you really know your styles, you could say, well, this is a Gibson girl, so this is Art Nouveau. This is early 1900s. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. Okay, so you're able to really break it down and then you find tons of these wood burnings, and you're able to find the value of your piece. Okay, but what I always like to do, as I mentioned, is I like to take some money off of that. So if it says it's worth this, I, you know, kind of make a little bit of room there because I like to be optimistic, and you know, I could sell for this, but you know, that's really optimistic. So let's say it's gonna sell for this, all right? But another thing, you have to look very closely at your items, okay? For instance, we've got these two bottles here. There is a difference between these two bottles, okay? If you look closely, and some of you bottle people might already know the difference. The logo, okay? One is a double dot and one is a regular dot. Okay, the double dot logo was only used until the 1940s. The other is newer than that, okay? So it's important to look closely and know what you're, because if you're looking and you're like, oh, if you have this bottle right here without the double dot, and you see that it's selling for, I mean, obviously this bottle is only worth maybe 10, 15 bucks, but some of the double dot bottles can go for 40, 60 bucks. So if you see a double dot bottle and it's going for 40 or 60 bucks, and you have this Pepsi bottle, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's going for 40 or 60 bucks. But you know what? Look very closely at the logo there. There's only one dot. it's not gonna go for 40 or 60 bucks. I don't even know how much this is worth. I actually bought this as a decoy because I really wanted this one. So I was like, well, I'll take these 2 Pepsi Cola bottles because I wanted the double dot. And I didn't want him to know that I was like, I was smart or anything like that, you know? So, and then you got this carrier here. You notice something about the logo? It's a double dot logo, okay? So very important to look closely at your items, okay? Now a lot of you guys are sending me pictures of lamps, and that's something that I am particularly fond of, and I love lamps, and I love looking at your pictures of the lamps. Okay, but here's the thing about lamps. Sometimes they are marked by a designer, but most of the time, they're not attributed to a designer. That being said, what I do when I see a lamp is the very first thing I do is I evaluate the style. Okay, so I look at a lamp and I say, is it Art Deco? Is it Victorian? Is it mid-century? Is it modern? You know, so I take the lamp apart based on its style. Okay, and I know the styles right now that are hot. I know that mid-century is hot right now. I know it's selling to people in New York and California. If I buy a lamp that's mid-century, I know it's gonna sell. And I know it's gonna sell for good money, okay? And I know it's gonna sell quick. So it's just it's an experience of knowing the market. That being said, let's get into another lesson of paying, what is it? You pay to learn. Okay, so that is a huge thing in the picking. And somebody said that to me early on, and I'm like, what are they talking about? You pay to learn, okay? So you buy something thinking that it's worth a lot of money, and you find out it's not. You've just paid to learn that lesson, okay? And I have done that. When I was starting out, I did that a lot. I paid to learn a lot, and I did learn a lot, you know? So you will. Oh, you will. If you're just getting into this, you're gonna pay to learn, and you're gonna learn a lot of lessons. You know, but the good thing is once you learn that lesson, you're not gonna make that mistake again. Hummels. Oh my God, I made that mistake. Oh, that was one of my biggest mistakes. Hummels, I made that mistake. But that was like right when the market was like dipping and they were still like right there at the cusp. And I bought them and it was like boom. And I'm like, oh no, now I'm stuck with these Hummels. But you know, you have to keep an eye on the market. You have to know what stuff is selling for. And you have to know these things. It's so important. But anyway, enough about that. Okay. So I think that's really all I wanted to talk about today. You guys have been, like, I'm so honored that you guys would give me the pleasure of looking at your lamps and your objects and giving me the honor of appraising and valuing them. I mean that's like huge for me. When I was 24 or 25 years old, I started my own estate sale business. I know I've talked about that before. I started it with the idea of doing tag sales, but all everyone wanted was cleanouts. So I would pay a certain amount of money, I would clean them out, and I would sell off everything. That's what I would do. But the reason I did that was because I realized that I had this gift to look at a table full of stuff and pick out the few things that had value. And that's kind of what I based my business on was, you know, you could have a whole basement full of crap and I could walk down there and I could pick out the stuff that had value just like that, you know. So that was my estate sale business. And of course then I had kids and I kind of had to shuffle that off. And then my metal detecting career took off and so that's still on hold. And I've kind of recently, well, not recently, but in the past few years, I kind of dove back into picking, and I don't know if I'll ever get back into estate sales, but it's always been a passion of mine. And I know a lot of you guys are always like, you're so lucky that Sue is bestowing her wisdom upon you. And to be honest, Sue and I just met, I want to say 2 years ago, and we've bonded over antiques, but I loved antiques long before I met Sue. I met Sue, like I said, 2 years ago, and we have bonded, and she has taught me a lot about stuff that I never would have noticed before, such as rose medallions. She has taught me a lot about that, and Barbies and whatnot. But a lot of this stems from before I've met Sue. So she is a wonderful lady. She's very knowledgeable, and she has taught me quite a bit. But that being said, there is a lot that I've brought to the table before knowing Sue. So this table specifically. All right, well, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we are gonna go pick up Juliet from preschool, and we're gonna go shopping. So I will be bringing you guys a shopping video very soon. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Oh, I almost forgot. I have created a Facebook group to help you guys. I know you're sending me all these emails. I've created a Facebook group. If you would like to post pictures of your lamps, of your objects in this Facebook group, I am going to make an effort to pop into this Facebook group when I have time, when I'm like sitting around not doing anything, to look at what you've posted and maybe lend my opinions on this stuff. I think that's the best way to do it, because right now, like I said, I'm getting messages on Etsy, Facebook, email, YouTube. Like it's all over the place, and I'm having a hard time. Like, so if you just want to post your pictures in the Facebook group, because not only can I help, but if we come together as a community in this group, I feel like even other people in the community could be like, oh, I recognize that, that's such and such. And so you're getting help not only from me, but from other knowledgeable people in the community. So I think it's a great solution to this. So I can't believe I almost forgot that part, but I will put a link to that down in the description. And like I said, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time. Later.